Imagine waking up every day with the feeling that your bones can no longer support their own weight, sensing that each step could be the next to cause a fracture, and realizing that what was once simple, like getting out of bed or climbing a step, has now become a daunting challenge. For many elderly people, osteoporosis is a silent problem that steals independence and limits quality of life. Studies from the International Osteoporosis Foundation indicate that about 30% of seniors over 70 years old suffer from bone fragility, increasing the risk of dangerous falls and complications that can even lead to total loss of mobility. But the good news is that, even in old age, it is possible to reverse this condition. Today, you will hear the emotional story of Mr. José, a 104-year-old man who faced the worst phase of his life when he realized he was losing bone strength and becoming increasingly vulnerable to fractures and pain. But instead of accepting this limitation, he decided to fight. What happened next completely changed his life, and it can change yours too. Mr. José had always been an active man. He enjoyed riding his bike, tending to the garden in the backyard, and whenever he could, he helped his neighbors with small repairs. The energy he carried was admirable, and many said that despite his age, he seemed to have the strength of a young man. But everything changed on an ordinary morning. While trying to reach a plant pot on the shelf, Mr. José slipped and fell. The impact seemed minor, but the pain was immediate. At the hospital came the news he never expected. "Mr. José, you've suffered a hip fracture. This happens when the bones are weak. It's osteoporosis." Those words echoed in his mind. Osteoporosis. He had always believed that only fragile people got that. But now, each day without action meant a greater risk of another fracture, and perhaps the total loss of his mobility. The following days were the hardest. Mr. José began to realize that simple tasks, like getting out of bed or climbing stairs, had become huge challenges. What once seemed trivial was now an obstacle, and the fear of falling again paralyzed him more than any physical pain. But what truly shook him was the feeling of losing his independence. Needing help for activities he had always done alone was the hardest blow. He looked in the mirror and barely recognized the man who once carried grocery bags with ease and now was afraid to walk around his own house. But Mr. José wasn't the type to give up easily. He knew that each day of inactivity brought him closer to another fracture, and he couldn't wait any longer. That was the moment he decided he wouldn't let osteoporosis define his life. What he discovered next not only strengthened his bones, but also restored his confidence and vitality. And the first habit he adopted was something that changed everything. Habit 1, therapeutic sunbathing, the light that strengthened his bones. After the osteoporosis diagnosis, Mr. José knew he needed to take action, but he never imagined the answer would come from something as simple as sunlight. During a visit to the doctor, he heard a recommendation that seemed obvious, but in practice made all the difference. "Mr. José, the sun is one of the greatest allies for your bones, but it's not just about going outside and sunbathing. There's a right way to do it to strengthen your health." Curious, he decided to follow the advice and turned sunbathing into a daily ritual. But it wasn't just any exposure. Mr. José learned that the secret was in the right time and the correct way to absorb the benefits of sunlight. How Mr. José did therapeutic sunbathing strategic times. He started his day with 15 minutes of sunlight between 7 and 9 in the morning, when sunlight is richest in vitamin D and less harmful to the skin. This time was perfect for stimulating the natural synthesis of vitamin D, essential for calcium absorption in the bones. Direct skin exposure. Mr. José wore light clothing, exposing his arms, legs, and face directly to the sun. This increased the efficiency of the process, ensuring his body produced the necessary amount of vitamin D. Gentle movement during sunbathing. He didn't just stand still. While soaking up the sun, he would gently walk around the yard, moving his arms and legs to also stimulate blood circulation and keep his joints active. Why did therapeutic sunbathing work? In just a few weeks, Mr. José began to feel the benefits. His pain decreased, the sensation of bone weakness started to fade, and he felt lighter and more energized for daily activities. Studies from the Endocrine Society show that sun exposure at the right times significantly increases the production of vitamin D, a nutrient essential for calcium fixation in the bones and the prevention of osteoporosis. Additionally, sunlight stimulates serotonin production, helping with overall well-being and providing the energy to maintain an active routine. For Mr. José, sunbathing wasn't just a practice, it was a moment of connection with life. Each ray of sunlight was a reminder that even after the diagnosis, he still had the power to transform his health. But sunbathing was just the first step. The next habit he adopted brought even more strength to his bones and completely changed his recovery journey. Habit 2. The unexpected secret mustard oil massage for stronger bones. While searching for ways to strengthen his bones, Mr. José discovered that the answer lay in the simplest things of daily life. It was during a visit to the town market that he heard advice that would change his routine forever. The vendor, an older man with a wide smile and full of stories, shared an ancient secret that had been passed down through generations in his family. "José, try warm mustard oil on your bones. My grandfather used it and said it helped keep his bones strong as stone." Curious and determined, Mr. José decided to give it a try. What seemed like a simple home remedy turned out to be a powerful technique to stimulate bone health and combat the fragility caused by osteoporosis. How Mr. José did it. Every night before bed, Mr. José warmed mustard oil until it was lukewarm and gently massaged areas like his hips, shins, and the spine region, where osteoporosis directly affects bone density. The heat penetrated deeply, stimulating circulation around the bones and promoting better absorption of essential minerals like calcium. The selenium present in mustard oil has anti-inflammatory properties that help reduce bone deterioration and create a favorable environment for strengthening bones. Why did the mustard oil massage work? As the weeks passed, Mr. José noticed that the sensation of bone weakness began to fade. He felt more stable, confident, and capable of performing activities that once seemed risky. The fear of fractures was replaced by a new sense of security when walking and moving around the house. Studies from the Journal of Inflammation Research show that mustard oil not only improves circulation, but also helps retain essential minerals for bone health. The combination of heat with the nutrients in the oil creates an ideal environment to prevent bone density loss and combat the effects of osteoporosis. For Mr. José, mustard oil wasn't just a temporary relief. It was a tool that restored his bone strength and gave him the confidence to live fully. But this was just part of the journey. The next habit would bring an even more powerful boost to Mr. José's bones. Habit 3, the elixir that brought back bone strength. In just a few weeks, Mr. José began to notice something that seemed impossible. His pain decreased drastically, his posture improved, and for the first time in months, he felt confident walking without fear. Even climbing stairs no longer seemed like such a big challenge. But what did he do to achieve this transformation? It all started with a simple recipe he discovered by chance during a conversation with a vendor at the town market. The man, with white hair and a wide smile, shared the longevity secret of his family. "My grandfather drank this every day and lived to 98 years old with bones strong as stone." Intrigued, Mr. José decided to give it a try. What seemed like just a mix of common ingredients turned out to be a powerful formula to strengthen his bones and restore the vitality he had long desired. Recipe for the Elixir of Strength: 1 glass of almond milk fortified with calcium, 1 tablespoon of ground sesame seeds, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of pure honey. Every morning before breakfast, Mr. José would warm the almond milk, mix in the ingredients, and drink it slowly, feeling the warmth spread through his body. The impact was surprising. The combination of calcium from the sesame seeds, the anti-inflammatory effect of turmeric, and the magnesium from the almond milk worked directly to strengthen his bones. Studies from the Journal of Bone and Mineral Metabolism confirm that foods rich in calcium and natural anti-inflammatories increase bone density and reduce the risk of fractures. For Mr. José, that elixir wasn't just a drink, it was the symbol of his new life. But he knew there was still more to be done. Habit 4, the power of movement, simple exercises that transformed his bones. Mr. José was already feeling the benefits of his first habits, but there was still something bothering him, the sensation of fragility when walking. That's when he remembered a story he had heard years ago, told by an old friend from the neighborhood. This friend, who had also struggled with osteoporosis, always said, "José, bones need to be challenged. If you don't move, they'll weaken even more." At the time, Mr. José didn't pay much attention. But now, with osteoporosis knocking at his door, those words made more sense than ever. He was determined to act. After all, the lack of movement not only weakens muscles, it accelerates the weakening of bones. And each week without moving could mark the beginning of irreversible complications. The simple exercise routine that changed everything, climbing and descending steps. Mr. José started slowly, using the step on his front porch. This simple movement strengthened the bones in his legs and hips, areas greatly affected by osteoporosis. Lifting water bottles. Without a gym nearby, he improvised. He filled plastic bottles with water and performed light arm movements, strengthening his shoulders and back. Stretching with a towel. To improve his posture, he used a towel for gentle stretches, keeping his spine strong and helping prevent falls. The result? In just a few weeks, Mr. José noticed that his posture was more stable and his legs were stronger. The fear of falling began to fade, and he felt a newfound confidence to perform tasks that once seemed impossible. Studies from the National Osteoporosis Foundation show that simple resistance and bodyweight exercises are essential for stimulating bone growth and increasing mineral density. Constant movement is key to keeping bones strong and healthy. For Mr. José, these exercises weren't just a physical challenge, they were a way to prove to himself that, with small steps, it's possible to regain autonomy. Habit 5. Mindful eating, the menu that nourished his bones. Mr. José knew that strengthening his bones didn't rely solely on exercises and natural treatments. Nutrition was the foundation of this transformation. But he didn't want complicated diets or hard-to-find foods. The secret was adapting what he already had at home to create a menu rich in essential nutrients for bone health. It was during a conversation with the nutritionist at the local health clinic that he received simple advice that would change his relationship with food. "José, your plate can be your greatest medicine. Small changes make all the difference in your bone health." With this in mind, Mr. José began to value simple and accessible foods that brought significant benefits to bone density and helped combat osteoporosis. Foods Mr. José included in his routine: black beans and chickpeas, rich in magnesium and phosphorus. These legumes helped rebuild bone structure and strengthen joints. Sardines with bones. Sardines are an excellent source of natural calcium. Mr. José learned to eat sardines with the bones, as that's where the highest concentration of calcium is found, essential for increasing bone density. Dark leafy greens, kale and spinach. These greens are rich in vitamin K, crucial for calcium metabolism in the bones. Mr. José made green juices and sautéed greens for lunch and dinner. Pumpkin and seeds. Pumpkin is rich in vitamin A, which aids in cell regeneration, while the seeds provide zinc, important for bone formation. Why did this diet work? In just a few weeks, Mr. José noticed a significant improvement in his energy and body strength. The combination of foods rich in calcium, magnesium, and essential vitamins helped strengthen his bones from the inside out. Studies from the Revista Brasileira de Nutrição Funcional indicate that a diet rich in calcium, vitamin K, and magnesium is fundamental for preventing and treating osteoporosis. Moreover, the regular consumption of legumes, calcium-rich fish, and leafy greens improves the absorption of essential nutrients for maintaining bone density. For Mr. José, nutrition wasn't just about feeding his body. It was an act of care and self-love, a daily reminder that he had the power to transform his health through simple choices. But there was still one final habit that ensured he not only strengthened his bones, but his entire body. Habit 6. Stretching with resistance bands, the secret to strong bones and proper posture. Even with all the habits Mr. José had already adopted, he knew he still needed something to strengthen his posture and ensure his bones stayed firm. It was during a conversation with the physiotherapist at the local health clinic that he discovered a simple and effective method: stretching with resistance bands. José, resistance bands are great for strengthening not just your muscles, but your bones too. They help maintain proper posture and prevent fractures, especially in the spine. Intrigued by the simplicity of the technique, Mr. José decided to give it a try. And what seemed like a light, easy exercise turned out to be one of the most powerful habits in his fight against osteoporosis. How Mr. José used resistance bands, arm and shoulder stretching. He held the resistance band with both hands and slowly opened his arms until he felt slight resistance. This exercise helped strengthen the bones in his shoulders and upper spine, areas vulnerable to osteoporosis. Spinal stretching. With the band secured to a fixed point, like a door handle, Mr. José leaned backward, feeling the stretch along his spine. This movement helped correct his posture and prevent the common hunched back caused by osteoporosis. Leg and hip exercises. He also used the resistance band for leg resistance movements, strengthening his hips and knees, critical areas for maintaining balance and preventing falls. In just a few weeks, Mr. José noticed that his posture was firmer, his back less curved, and his balance significantly improved. He could walk confidently and without fear of falling, which was crucial for maintaining his independence. Studies from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy show that stretching with resistance bands helps increase bone density and strengthen the muscles that support the spine, preventing fractures and improving posture. Additionally, this type of exercise improves flexibility, reduces joint pain, and promotes greater body stability, which is crucial for those facing osteoporosis. For Mr. José, resistance bands became an essential part of his routine. Simple, affordable, and effective, they proved that even with limited resources, it's possible to find powerful solutions to keep bones healthy. Today, at 104 years old, Mr. José lives with vitality and confidence. His journey against osteoporosis is proof that, with simple, consistent, and science-backed habits, it is possible to transform bone health at any stage of life. If you or someone you love is facing similar challenges, don't wait for the worst to happen. Start today. Each day of delay increases the risk of fractures that could change your life forever. Small changes can bring extraordinary results, and, as Mr. José proved, your bones can be strengthened with determination, knowledge, and the right habits. Conclusion: we've reached the end of this inspiring story of health and longevity. If you've made it this far and enjoyed what you learned from Mr. José, write in the comments the phrase, "My bones are my fortress," and rate this story from 0 to 10. Remember, age is just a number. You can do it. You've got this. See you in the next video, and may God bless you.